You're listening to the Quint's podcast.
फोन है, नेटवर्क है, दवाइयां नहीं है। दवाइयों को उबर, जैसे उबर ओला, ना टैक्सी उसकी ना ड्राइवर उसका, सिर्फ बिचौले का काम, माध्यम। बोल, आइडिया हिट है?
लग तो रहा है।
Hello and welcome to another episode of OffScreen. I'm your host Nand Kumar, and that was a little glimpse from the trailer of Netflix's Upstarts. So usually on OffScreen, every other Wednesday we try to bring you stories from the world of movies and web shows, and mostly with the people who work behind the scenes. This time though, it's slightly different because I'm actually going to be talking to people who are actually on screen. The members of the cast of Upstarts, Priyanshu Painyuli, who we saw in Bhavesh Johi, and Chandrachoor Rai, who's done a bunch of films including Dum Laga Ke Haisha. But what they're going to be doing is they're going to be telling me about the life of an actor off screen. So, here we go. Hi Priyanshu, hi Chandrachoor, and thank you so much for being on off screen.
Hi, thank you for calling us.
So from the trailer of Upstarts, it's the story of people who are trying to begin a startup, right? So there's been stuff before that's done on startups, right? Like TVF had this really nice show called Pictures, and damn it. Whoever's yeah, sad.
Am I not tired of hearing that already?
Oh yeah, I'm sure you get this a lot, right?
But because also people compare it to that because them and us, we are the only ones who covered this kind of this topic,
series.
And they've done series. So even with films, if you see, nobody's touched this IT sector or startup boom. Also because it's new, it's only last 10 years, which we know India saw a great maniacal sweep of this thing happening. So comparisons will happen, but
I think it's also
let any two romantic films maybe comparison hoga.
But this is not as much so the comparison.
Yeah, not many people have seen anything into this. But these guys did, and then now we're doing.
Did you guys read up about like research on startup culture? Because in India, I think a couple of years ago, 2012, 2013, it was like a huge massive boom for startups, right?
We met a lot of CEOs from lots of companies, lots of founders. Initially, I remember when we read the script, I thought we were doing a lot of drama in the script. But when we met these founders and we told them that this is what you're trying to do, and when I learned stories from them, what happens, I like, we're doing not so much.
It's worse in reality.
It's worse in reality, what goes behind the board. Yeah,
so these were people that you guys met. I mean, these were like owners and founders of these startups.
CEOs. When I met them, Bhavesh Agarwal, Ola CEO, Urban Ladder CEO, COO Rajiv, Redbus founders. So, but great insight. I mean, those guys helped us with a lot of stuff.
Since you're talking about research, he went and met CEOs. But because I came much later on the film, for my research, Uday sent me to a typing class. That's what I did.
Why would you do
Because
that?
apparently, I don't know this podcast, how will it come across? But people who regularly type, they have a way of typing. Like the cube, whatever the QWERTY keyboard, you need to handle it a certain way.
It's that ease.
I type with 2 fingers, man. Like that's it. So he's like, no coder in the world ever types like this. Who calls you like this? Kya kar raha hai tu? You need to figure out how to type.
It has to be at the back of your head.
Yeah,
right?
so he was like suddenly going back in the 90s where the
I mean, you have to look at the screen, not the keyboard.
And I used to
I
go like that.
would be doing this, looking at the keyboard and...
So he
Yeah,
made
you can't
me,
be searching for the
so
letters.
he made me do the whole typing thing. And then I went there every day. It was like 90s mein, kids going to these typing classes to get jobs. I was like, shit, I never expected this is what acting is going to be.
Most of us went to a typing class before we started learning about it, like in the early 2000s.
Correct.
classes.
Yeah, computer. It was like that.
And in all fairness, I don't think I have a lot of close-ups on my fingers, but yeah. I'm going to come back to Quint and say, "Main karu shorthand aapko."
Yeah, always need people to do transcriptions.
Yeah.
So when you decided you want to become actors, I'm sure you, at least at the time that you guys were thinking about it, would have thought that we'll do films or whatever, television. But now there's the web space. And did you ever think that this could have been a possible choice or an opportunity? Yeah. Did you grow up thinking you want to be in films, right?
Yeah, I mean, you just want to be an actor, and then we did, I think both of us, we've done stage, and then you come here, you come to Bombay, then there's regular work happening with ads and TV and films, of course. But then when suddenly this web boom happened, I remember long back when people would start talking about it, कि web में ना करना चाहिए, you should do some stuff. I was part of this one initial show which YRF had made, Bang Baja Bharat. which was on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I came on that. We came on board. We shot that. Got great reviews. Everything. I was like, "हाँ, but ठीक है, this is one off. YouTube में आ रहा है. People will watch it. People will like it." But you never thought that this will become another avenue as such, where now films will be made. And in fact, with the same budget, the process would be same. And we can do something very challenging and come up with some nice contemporary stories and and reach out to global audience. Right now film is going to straight away go into some 119 countries at the same time, watched by millions, and not just.
And it's going to be there.
Yeah, and it's going to be there. And my reach is now suddenly higher.
Yeah.
But Bhavesh Johi, I remember when it came on Netflix and people
found so
recognized
much
so
bigger
much audience
I was
happened
gonna
that.
say that,
Then I went to Taiwan and I got free acupuncture by doctors there because they'd seen Bhavesh Johi in Chinese language there. And his son, the doctor's son, came up to him and said, "He's that guy." I've seen his film on Netflix.
That's sweet.
So those kind of things can happen now for you.
Yeah.
So for artists, I think this is the best time.
All that has happened, I think, is a lot of new people have come in. So a lot of new ideas have come in. The masses, even like the television has a very simple system of collecting TRP, right? Which is extremely archaic now. You can't really figure out what people are watching based on TRP. Exactly the similar way, box office is also very limited because what film comes out, that film gets watched. Now, what internet is doing per se is revolutionizing the idea because personalizing thing. I can reach out literally to Priyanshu if I want him to see something. So that kind of reach is great, and for actors and creators at this point of time, it's great that I can expand without the control of the idea what a mass watches. That's really phenomenal. So, Uday, for most of the time, he was very clear about the fact that he wanted to make this film, and he wanted to make this film with people who are not exactly stars already, because the film requires these people to find themselves during the film, the characters per se, and it would have been very difficult to make a film like this because he's right. It's so much. Our film is so much about the nuances that go between these boys and their journey, that it would have been impossible to watch a film without a stigma. And if you're watching a Shah Rukh Khan, there's already a stigma when you watch him. So to watch these actors perform without any stigma is very important and central to the script of the film.
And the web is making stars out of people because the content is good, right?
But
someone
the
like
story is the king. If the people don't like your script and the characters, now everybody wants to see characters and a nice script.
Yeah. Also, like two things that people are exposed to so much international content, which is really good. And I think, I don't know if you guys hear this, but so many people say this all the time, that, who's going to watch it down the theater? Let's just wait for it to come on.
Absolutely.
On Amazon or something.
That's my mother, man. Like my mother was a big fanatic of going to a cinema hall and watching. Now she's like, I don't want to climb the stage and then stand in the line and then somebody.
It's become a process also, now the traffic has grown so much. Then you'll think, parking milegi, nahi milegi. Then buying that 500 rupee popcorn is also there. Then there's a lot of things.
For me, the biggest
watching those ads on the screen is there.
For me,
there's no ads. You're just watching.
If I'm sitting next to you and you're bloody eating some sausage, something, and I'm watching a nice somebody, like dying on the screen, and all I can smell is sausage. Where is my experience? Now the cinema halls have become like gourmet. It used to be popcorn. Now some gourmet sections with like burgers and everything. My experience is getting completely ruined. I might as well watch it at home and decide मेरे को पराठे खाने हैं.
That's true.
But there is that love also.
Yeah,
you still want to.
Certain films demand that, like a Marvel or something, that you want to watch.
You can't see Infinity War.
You can't see it at home.
No, I think gourmet should be banished from cinema halls. I'm not saying it's a problem.
His problem is with the food.
Yeah, it's the food. It's the smell of that food.
Those guys coming in, taking change in the middle of the film. Like, sign that, take the order later. So you want something
in my face. 1 second, bhai sahab, Thor dikh raha hai.
He's finally kicking Thor.
But like both of you have done a couple of films. What is it like when you're climbing the ladder? What are the struggles of just doing that? Like, are there days when you're just like auditions are like bad or people just say the strangest things? What is it like?
Yeah, I mean, for the longest time, see, to be very honest, I cannot be like holier than thou and say now I have figured out what is the industry all about. I still don't have any idea. I still, most of the time I've gotten work when somebody very popular has walked out the last moment, or somebody production realizes that अरे पैसे खत्म हो गए, so who to call? This guy, or it has always been very chance based, very last moment. I still can't really say, but what has definitely happened is that the struggles of mentally keeping yourself occupied, because you can read, obviously you can watch a lot of cinema, you can write for yourself and all of that, but definitely you want to be actively involved in the film industry.
Right.
So you want to be working. Now, because of all of this coming in constantly, it's interesting because you're doing so much. You can create for yourself, you can create smaller stuff for yourself. Short films have become so much more important. Short films are being considered as a medium itself, not like a trailer to a bigger film. People started understanding the medium of a short film much better. So going through all of that used to be very boring, like sitting at home and figuring out what to do, reading and watching films. But now it's evolved more, because now I can call Priyanshu and say, hey Priyanshu, you know what, I've come up with this idea. What about we just make it on a phone?
You can make a short film and put it out.
And let's see what happens. So it's engaging. It's engaging because the audience is actively engaging with you. And if somebody is willing to consume something that's probably not has a panache of finished product, but a still raw form of art. So that's very interesting to some people like us.
I don't know, I love giving auditions. They're like a playground. Yeah, for me it was more like a playground. Whether I get it or not is not a question. It was like an exercise I'm going for.
Right.
From my home I go
it's
there.
Practice
It's practice. I don't see whether I'm going to get it or not. In fact, lots of time Mukesh Chabra casting team used to keep calling me back to back to back. I'm not getting any of those ads, series, this, that, long back before even Rock On happened. I'm not getting selected, but I was just going there having fun, giving, and then they would say that audition we showed it to that director who really liked you.
So you never know where it's going to help.
You never know who's going to see what. I mean, so initial first 2 years, though, I've gone on our typical Aram Nagar and all that where auditions happen. I used to walk in.
For the people who don't know, Aram Nagar is this place where a lot of actors...
A lot of actors auditions happen. All the studios are over there.
In Bombay.
Thankfully, for the past 5 years now, the casting directors who come in, the assistants come in, and they, even for an ad or anything, now a proper brief is given and has called you and you're shortlisted and all that happens. That point in time, you're just told ki, 20 to 40-year-old men required, be there in the studio. Everybody's there, the door opens. I've been told ki, no. And I'm like, I thought you were supposed to test me, see me in front of the camera.
So the dismissal happens even before you were...
Even before you're in front of the camera. Or because you're wearing the shirt. And not this kind of a t-shirt, or your hair is curly and we need an office look. I said, but office people can have curly hair and we'll make it neater later. Now, if you like my acting, then take me. I'm sure you have a hairstylist who's going to make me look neater. So lots of things have happened. Your name is too long, your nose is too long.
Are you serious? The name is too long.
I've been told my nose is too, would you be okay to change your nose, change your name?
Would you be change your nose?
Just ordered it online. It's going to come very soon. I'm going to change my nose.
Just go like and come back.
Wait, big billion sale is going to come.
Correct. My name, everything. I said, nahin, I think those things will be accepted and loved if they like me and my work.
All of these things, like too short, too tall, too ugly, too good looking, everything in the same day probably. One audition, like, no, you're not good looking for the part. You have a little this face. Then next time you go, oh sorry man, you're too good looking for this part. He's like, go tell that guy. Go tell the other guy who just said no. Then probably I'll get that part. But all of this, like you have buck teeth, that's a problem sometimes. I don't know, I've heard the funniest things. I have no idea why is beyond a point. It's like somebody's told me, actually, you're a very good whatever for the part. But the thing is, a hero is a 5'8".
So
but
you're
5'10".
Oh,
so we can't take you. I'm like, but I slouch, man. Like, you know, I'm slouching. If you measure my height, I'm 5'8". Then they're like, oh. Then the next time it's like, the thing is that you got to beat the hero up, but he's 6'1". So then... you're like 5'10". Like, come on, it's not like every time somebody who beats up somebody who's got like the same height or chota bada who manages. So I've heard the funniest thing. Beyond a point, I've realized that most of it is not to be taken seriously.
But another problem nowadays is social media, man. I go for an ad and they're like...
social media pe account hai.
No, social media account my followers. When you have followers, they will take you or not.
Oh my god.
That happens.
Yeah. Because brands, I mean, they ask actors to sell, I mean...
those brand endorsements and all those partnerships are happening, which is good. But, I don't know, I mean, I think...
So is there a pressure for you?
I think, half the time as actors now, apart from concentrating on our performance, fitness, diet, and now there is half a day has to spend on social media, matlab, kya kiya? Matlab, you know, once you go to the shoot...
Twitter pe 1 hafte se post nahi kiya.
Once you go to the shoot, I've been told ki, sir, please wahan se post डाल देना. मैं acting में ध्यान नहीं दूँ, मतलब I have to learn my lines.
thing for you? Like, does it not come naturally to you? I feel like for a lot of young people, like social media just comes really easily because we've kind of grown up with it. But is that something that you...
Nice, how subtly you put we are old.
Sorry. No, I meant like you guys...
I love it how you went, we are young,
Not that old. But maybe we're not, at least I'm not so much into it. I've got used to it and started liking it now. Only Insta. I love Insta because I like playing with pictures.
But does it ever hurt when you see someone very visibly not talented get many opportunities just because of access? Because in the last 3-4 years, so much conversation being said and done about nepotism and etc. But is it just annoying?
Nepotism is fine. I am totally for nepotism. There's nothing. I'll tell you why. Because I think that happens
it's fine
in any
if you're
industry.
Talented, but I mean
Nepotism is like in any industry. If my dad would have been a jewelry store owner, I would get that jewelry store to run another business and easily for me to access. Then whether I become successful or not, that depends on my caliber and talent.
Yeah, but what I meant was that people who are maybe as much as not as talented but get the opportunity because of the access they have.
On social media.
In film, you're someone's son, so you will get a film as a leading role in a leading part because you're so-and-so's son, because you have that access, but you may not have the talent to back it up,
get
right?
one film, then they have to prove themselves in the second, and then if are they going to run in the business for, are you here to do 1 film, 2 film, 3 film, or are you here to do your lifelong career in the acting? That choice really matters, no?
And you think it works like that? Generally, is it like that? Is it really based on?
I'm saying it's not that dimensional in the terms saying that. I wouldn't say that it's all fair and square. But what he's saying, I really like to side with it. But the idea in itself of nepotism, the word in itself comes from the idea that church, you couldn't have a family, so you put your cousin in it. That's where nepotism came, and the money and the power was of the state and the church. The film industry in itself doesn't have a very government-backed system. It's existing independent, completely independent of the government. The taxation, everything, it's not regularized. So the idea that if I want my son to be in the films, mostly because I have the
resources,
the capital, I've invested in it over the years. I've made a brand out of myself, and any brand likes to have a sub-brand that again makes the money for the brand. In that sense, it does make sense in a lot of ways. It's unfair when you keep shoving down a failed brand down people's throat because of the mediums you have, but then people do reject it eventually. It never works out. To be very honest, at a very personal level, a deeply personal level, I've realized that you cannot actually reject anybody on one. The whole thing has several parameters, right? Of why you do something, why you're a journalist or why you're an actor. Saying that acting is the sole talent would have been when you're doing a very purist theatre or a very purist, independent film. The moment you're a part of an industry, it's a commercial aspect to it. The moment there's a commercial aspect to it, there are 20,000 things. I agree how you try and put me in, what is the film, War? And I wouldn't want to watch myself. I would love to watch Hrithik Roshan, but if I had to watch myself in slow motion for 20 minutes, I was like, what the hell is happening, man? This man is irritating the shit out of me. But therefore, I'm saying that there are a lot of things that do come into play the moment you say it's a commercial industry. So I have respect for almost anybody who's made it, because personally, the more I interact with people, I realize anybody who's made it, it's not a total scam. Not a total scam. Anybody who's there has definitely worked with whatever their strength was and has accepted the weakness that they have. If they're bad actors, they've accepted we are bad actors. Let's work on something else.
There are other things that
I need to work on, and some people very arrogantly believe that I don't need to work on this because I have this one strength, and then they falter and eventually realize a lot of people.
And they
a lot of people for bad. We've really heard stories of people who had bad temperament and couldn't, even though they were extremely talented. People didn't want to work with them because of temperament. There are people who've been marginally talented or whatever the word is, but they did really well because of temperament, because they're very professional on set, and you'd rather work with somebody who's professional than, I don't know, Van Gogh cutting off the ear. It'll be difficult these days. It's a different day at that point of time. So something like that, I don't know.
So, but talking about what you said about the commercial aspect, it's also true that a large part of the audience is also interested in these star kids, right? I mean, if you look at any star kid, they have because they have 120,000 pages. So then a producer would obviously want to launch them.
Right? I'll tell you something very simple, right? Best example is an Apple iPhone coming out, right? Nobody knows what is this next Apple iPhone going to do. It's pretty much the same thing that's come out before, but because it's the brand Apple, we are going crazy for that new phone that's going to come out in 3 days. this is still a living human being that's come out of somebody.
Yeah.
So
No, that's what I
obviously
mean. I
pretty
mean,
much
like, you can't put
it
the
may-
blame on just people casting these guys because there are people who are interested in seeing these guys.
I love watching Taimur every now and then. Why not, man?
I was going to say
It's
that,
Taimur.
but-
I mean, look, Karina's son. Oh my God, I had a crush on Karina. Look, I have a crush on Taimur also now. It's perfect, you know. One also like a very small, simple thing that I realized, like the idea here is we're discussing privilege. And privilege does operate, right?
Of course.
So for the longest time when I was in Bombay, I wasn't making money. Not that I'm making too much right now, but let's say when I was making money.
Always scope for more. Yeah.
So yeah, so for me it was more like I would just call my dad up and say ki paise khatam ho gaye, and then like here your rent, here your
Right.
rent fees.
So you
here,
had
this.
that
So I
option.
had that privilege, and in the same time I could see there were other actors that I knew from before, genuinely very talented people. They had to really struggle. Some of them would do really shitty work because they had to make the rent.
Yeah.
So me pointing finger at somebody for the privilege they have.
Everyone enjoys their own privilege.
Yeah, it's
Their
very
own
ironical
privileges,
in that sense. So
Right.
you accept that either you really stand out and all of that, which is not me. Like I haven't done that. So either it's
That's
guilt
quite
or-
self-aware of you.
Yeah, so it's just that. It's just the idea that I can see that it does operate at different levels, and this is what the economy and society is right now. So it's complicated. Films used to be like that. Like there was a time when Bombay, मुझे वो याद है मैं एक बार कहीं जा रहा था टैक्सी में, and एक टैक्सी वाला old timer है, बातें करने लग गया. So he was telling me कैसे नौशाद used to sleep on this street right here. Sir, time था जब बॉम्बे में ना कोई भी आके कुछ भी बन सकता था. Sir, अब खाली पैसे वाले ही पैसा कमाते हैं. He was basically taking a dig at me in some sense. He didn't know, but then he was right. In that sense, I really respect Uday. I really respect Uday that he cast Priyanshu and
The
Shadab.
director of
of our
Upstarts.
film, right? Priyanshu, before he had become like a star that he is right now.
Star, yeah.
But
Right.
before, because Bhavesh Johi was still to hit the screens.
Bhavesh
right?
Joshi.
Yeah.
So
Because we
hit the
just shot
screens and
Bhavesh.
he became all this really popular after. So he was cast then. Shadab also, he was his like him in the way he was already, a little bit of star already. But still like, he had taken some time off and everything. So, and I was completely like not their league. So even after Priyanshu being a star, he did not go for like, let's change the whole thing. He was arrogant enough. He was arrogant. No, but you know what I'm saying? Like he was arrogant enough to go that, okay, I have faith in my script.
No, bro, I'm not a star. I have 10,000 followers on Instagram.
That's a star, bro.
that's a star.
I'm not more rich.
It's more a star.
On media, my college student has more than me.
Yeah, you can flash your Insta ID.
Yeah, guys, please follow me. You'll see the
Please
blue tick.
follow.
Somehow I have the blue tick, I think. It's on my name.
Yeah, Priyanshu
Painyuli. Very
Painyuli.
complicated.
If you end up at his account, he must have tagged me, then you can find
You can find him also, so yeah.
So yeah.
So thanks, guys. It was
Thanks,
fun.
man. Thank you so much. Great fun. Thank you.
So that's all for today. And if you like this podcast, do check out more on Apple, Google Podcasts, and JioSaavn, Spotify, or any other platform we're on right now. And do subscribe to the platform of your choice to keep listening. If you have any feedback, you can reach out to me on @nandakumar_27 on Instagram and Twitter, or you can drop me a mail on nandkumar.ramohan@thequint.com. Have a great week and see you all next time.